I think personally you have to take it a day at a time, and it starts in practice. I think we've been successful the past few games because we've been able to translate what we practice in practice into the game. So I think our focus is going to be the most important thing, and sticking to the game plan and not thinking ahead of the next game.
I mean, there's a lot of good teams in this league, so I don't think this week is any different than last week. You know, we needed to win basketball games last week too, and so I think it comes down to, you know, being motivated to beat OU because they got us the last time, and, you know, we have a chance to kind of even the series and you know, continue to get better and show who we are. And so, you know, I think Texas doesn't matter until we take care of OU, and then Kansas State doesn't matter until we play Texas. So, you know, it's a lot of games and a fast and furious period. I don't think that anyone knew going into this season that OU and Kansas State would be ranked in the top 25. Or that even this game getting flipped around because of COVID, we were supposed to play TCU, you know, and they switched this game around. So, you know, it created this unique, you know, 4 games against ranked opponents in a row. But I think, you know, when you play in the ACC and you play in the SEC, this is just what you do, you know, and I think it's just a testament to where the Big 12 is at this year that as much as, you know, I've said it all year long, as much as Baylor has dominated this conference, like, I mean, you can't help but be excited about the fact that the league has 4 teams that were in the top 16 first reveal and potential 4 teams or more that could host first and second round games, and certainly a lot of basketballs to be played. But, you know, it shows there's respect for this league, which this league deserves.
Coach, I was listening on the radio before this, and I heard you talk about, you know, the quick turnaround is similar to a WNBA schedule. So for your players, you know, looking towards their future, what does that do for them to knowing that, you know, looking towards that next level?
You know, I think it, honestly, I don't know that it means a lot right now. I think for them it's about less practice and more games. And obviously that's the pro game. I mean, it's honestly like these guys will learn it's the difference between the pro game in Europe and the pro game in America. Like America's about, pro sports in America are about games and revenue and all of that. Pro sports in Europe are still 2 games a week. I mean, they're like a Big 12 conference schedule. You play a EuroLeague game on Wednesday and a Turkish league game or a Polish league game on the weekend. And so, you know, European basketball has always been about preparation, and American basketball is how many games can we play in a short period of time. So, you know, I think for them it just is, it's less preparation. It's more of a chance to get out there and show, you know, what they're capable of. For me, it feels a little bit more like that from a prep perspective. You know, I said our toughest day is certainly we're not looking ahead, and we're gonna. But when you think about this week in totality, for me, you know, the scariest part is one day prep for Texas. Just from a preparation perspective and a coaching perspective, because Texas has 5-day prep for us because they played on Saturday and don't play again until Friday. So, but we've played OU, so our players absolutely understand and are motivated to beat them because they've already gotten us once in a game that I don't think we played very well and still led for 37 minutes of the game. And so they have a chance for redemption in that game. And then, you know, then we're going to, you know, take Texas then from there. And, you know, certainly it's very similar to playing in a series, you know, playing in the playoffs where you play best of 5 and you're playing the same opponent and you got to beat them 3 of 5. Like that's what this looks like. You know, we've got that both with Texas and TCU where we play both those teams back to back. So just kind of a unique setup, I think.
Obviously, people around the state are going to be very excited about this rivalry in Texas, but for the 2 of you, since you guys are coming into it fresh, does that make it easier to compartmentalize and really treat it like any other game?
I mean, being Alabama, you obviously have a big rival in Auburn, and so I don't think it's any different than it would be if you at another school and have a big rival. I think everyone knows what the game is. There's no elephant in the room. Like, it's
I've coached against Vic as an assistant coach when I was at Arkansas. Certainly game plan for Mississippi State, and people are different, personnel is different, but system and style is the same. You know, you had to handle the press for 40 against them, and you knew you were going to get great energy and effort, and certainly, you know, even going to the volleyball game when Baylor hosted Texas, the crowd was totally different. Obviously, you have visiting crowd as well, and so, yeah, I think you. You know it's a big game. It doesn't mean you prepare any differently. You just know that you don't need a lot of extra motivation to get them excited to play. Like that's innate to want to compete. And you're talking about competing on national television again too. So it's both of those things. It's a rival. It's national TV. You know, and at this point, it's basically a top 10 matchup.
Coach, obviously the last time you guys were heading to play OU, you're coming off the COVID pause. So how different does it feel this time around in the preparation?
You know, in all honesty, like when I watch that game back, it's like, it's crazy because I thought we were awful. Like, I mean, watching the game back, like we don't look like the same team, you know, that we've become. And some of that was COVID. Some of that was losing going into Christmas and then coming back and losing to Kansas State and probably not, you know, and the one I'm sitting next to is, I mean, she wasn't coming off a triple-double going into the game the last time. I mean, she struggled to put the ball in the basket against Kansas State, then had COVID, and then just wasn't aggressive, you know, wasn't herself. And so, you know, when you think about where our guards are at from then till now, they're the biggest difference. I mean, Queen and Liz scored a lot of points in that game. But could have dominated even more, you know, and so I watched that game, and I think, you know, we didn't even play good basketball and led for 37 minutes. So as much as anything, as a coach, I just want us to play good basketball. You know, results will take care of themselves, but we also won't walk into this game with the same, like, slow-down approach. Certainly we don't want to rush shots against them because they want to play with tempo, but we certainly are good in transition. We're good in our drags and step-ups. We're good in early offense. And so we want to be a little bit more of who we are rather than trying to play a different style because of coming out of COVID and missing 5 days. And you know, you just watch us. We look tired in that game. Like, I didn't feel that at the time, but now that I know how we can look, I know that we weren't ourselves.
Jordan, what's the biggest difference for you from the first OU game to now? Was it just fatigue, or was there something else that you've become more comfortable with or worked on?
I think she said it. It's kind of cringy to watch it for me, like the turnovers that we had and some of the bad passes we had. I think just being more confident and building more chemistry. I think since that game and since we had those downfalls, we've come together closer as a team. And like she said, the guard play has been like way better. I think Jamie's been knocking down shots and Sarah has been playing unbelievable. So I think like all together, like we've come together to kind of find our roles and kind of hit who's hot, who's not, and kind of be able to find each other in spots where we can score.
Coach Collen mentioned your triple-double reaction to getting Big 12 Player of the Week. First one for Big 12 for you.
I mean, I'm not really like a person about individual awards, so I'm just happy that Baylor could be recognized, honestly. But it does mean a lot just for me and my team, and I think that it was deserving this week.
Nicki, you talked about the guards, and obviously they have played better in this stretch. But Queen's seems like, has been more consistent. You've gotten consistent, whereas earlier in the year it was kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, don't jinx us.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think it's an energy thing. Like, it's an energy and effort thing with Queen. Obviously, the talent is there. You know, she can go get a ball in a crowd. She can block shots. She can, you know, but understanding that, you know, playing with consistent energy, playing with consistent effort, that the ball will come her way if she does those things. You know, that it's not about, you know, how many touches do you get or this or that. Like, you're going to get touches. She's going to get touches. Liz is going to get touches by nature of what we do and how we do it. But it's been the defensive play. It's been the consistency of, getting down to early posts, of getting on the offensive glass, of finishing around the rim. Like even against Iowa State when she didn't actually finish, but she gave us like great energy defensively. Look, we're 7 deep, for the most part. We need everybody to play their role. Doesn't mean everyone's going to be hot on a given night, but we need everyone to play their role. Jaden's given us good energy off the bench, made some shots, but, we need a little bit of everyone. And, but I think there's no doubt that when we know we're going to get great effort from Queen, that just makes our post depth really good because we don't drop off. And so, it's not frustration and then I'm putting Caitlin in the game. It's like, okay, who's tired? Now let's get him a blow and then let's go back. So, yeah, she's been consistent. So hopefully that's the Queen we see from here until, our last game of the season.
Nicki, after the previous Oklahoma game, you said you guys chased Taylor Robertson around and every time she got a look at it, she made it.
Law of averages.
Do you feel the same way looking at it, that game back on film now, and do you just say, hey, they're going to shoot it and we got to...
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because you look at them statistically and I've said this before, and I'm not going to shy away from saying that I think teams, people can say all they want, that our at times our 3-point field goal percentage defense hasn't been good, and I'd be the first to agree. But I also think that sometimes teams play with a little more carefree, nothing to lose attitude. And players from Texas Tech made shots that shoot below 20% from three, and they all made one. Skylar Vann had a huge game against us the last time. She shot 27% overall for the season. She's shooting 27% from three in the Big 12, but she didn't shoot 27% when they played against us. Taylor Robertson is arguably the best shooter in America, not in the Big 12, but in America. She shoots 48% from three. She shot 100%, with every shot she took being contested. So she was 5 for 5. So to me, law of averages says she should have been 2 for 5 or obviously 2.5 for 5, which isn't possible. So, it just, you got to get a contest on her. I thought we guarded her very, very well. We had very few breakdowns. She got very few clean looks. And it's mind-boggling to me to watch her get clean looks against other teams and miss. And so, you just hope that the fact that she was 5 for 5 last time makes her, more likely to be 0 for 5 this time so that she can get back to that 50%, which she shoots from three.
Jordan, the fact that Sarah can take some of that load off of you, how much does that help you just, that you don't have to have the ball in your hands all the time? And it seemed like it helped against West Virginia as well.
I think it helps a lot. I think we both are able to handle the ball, and that's what makes us so diverse is when people are trying to press us or take away the ball handler or pressure the ball handler, we can just pass it off to each other depending on who's guarding us. And so I think also getting into sets, there's certain sets that Sarah can get the shot if she's hot or certain sets that I can run it. So I think just having that ability to switch off and not only having one outlet all the time where teams can kind of block the outlet or pressure the outlet is something that has made us successful.
Coach, I gotta ask about the Wisconsin Hall of Fame. I know it's a big week for your team, but just to take a moment to recognize what that means to you and what Wisconsin has meant to you in your career.
It's really, I was shocked. Honestly, not a lot shocks me. And there's very few things that make me speechless, as most people know that have gotten to know me. But I had randomly gotten a direct message through Facebook from my high school basketball coach, and I thought, wow, Platteville High School is going to put me in the Hall of Fame. So when I talked to him and he told me it was the Wisconsin Basketball Hall of Fame, honestly, I was speechless. I truly fell in love with the game in the driveway. in a small town in southwest Wisconsin. And, it's really, really cool. Like some of the people that are going into the Hall of Fame this year, Keith Knoll, probably got me to this point without knowing. I mean, he saw me play at an exposure event. He ran the Viking Club, which was really the only AAU team at the time in Wisconsin, and gave me my first opportunity to showcase myself on a state and national level, that afforded me all these opportunities in life. And so the fact that he's going in the same year, like, is just, there's something really, really cool about that. And even Lisa Stone, who's the head coach at St. Louis right now, she was at UW Eau Claire when I was in high school, and I still remember like her working out our AAU team and teaching us some things, and so just kind of a really neat thing, and something that really surprised me. Like I chased greatness when I was a player, but I wasn't someone that, it was funny, I had a friend say something about me being a bucket getter, and I said, I don't know that I was ever a bucket getter. I was more of an assister. So wasn't someone that scored 4,000 points or something like that in high school. And my team was okay, but not great. We didn't have a long history of success at Platteville High School. I still remember we won one game my 7th grade year and 8th grade year, the high school team. And I remember my first game as a freshman playing in a game, and we'd never lost a game in middle school. So here I am as a freshman on varsity, and we lost our first game by 20, and I'm in the locker room crying, and the seniors on the team are like celebrating like we won the Super Bowl. And I remember thinking, like, I hadn't lost a game in 2 years. I'm in there crying, like, with kind of this weight of expectations. And they're like, no, you have no idea. That team's beating us by like 60 points. Like, we're going to be pretty good this year. And so that, one of those things you learn, as you go from 13 years old to 14 years old. And, but yeah, I mean, it's a huge honor. I'm really excited, and I will clear my schedule and be there.